This is DBTV. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Sam Neill, the actor and winemaker owner and dabbles his hand in winemaking at Two Paddocks in Central Otago, New Zealand. Sam, welcome.
Yes, I think of myself more of a comedian slash wine producer.
Great.
I have a very nice man called Dean Shaw who's been making my wine since 1999. And I defer to him.
Good stuff.
When it comes to winemaking.
And taking us back to the beginning, was it always a dream of yours to own a vineyard?
Not at all, no. It was just one of those things that in my muddly life I stumbled upon. I'd always been interested in wine, as indeed my family has been for as long as anyone remembers. At least 100 years, maybe 150, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And, at least 150 years, maybe 200. And, but I'm the first person to actually produce wine.
Mm-hmm. And was there one bottle that kick-started your passion for wine?
Yes, there was a bottle that this happens to many people with wine, that there's a glass that changes your life, and the one that changed my life was I was having dinner with James Mason and his wife. Mm-hmm. In Switzerland. I've referred to this before, but it's just something that happened, and I was entirely used to drinking, poverty-stricken as I was at that age, wine out of a cardboard box.
Okay.
And this was a quantum leap, from the absolute dregs mm-hmm. of the wine world into one of the most sublime, possible things, sublimely possible things that you could drink.
What was the bottle that did it?
I think it was a Gevrey Chambertin.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bottle of Burgundy, and that's what got me interested in Pinot Noir.
Mm-hmm.
And then 15 years later, I was growing my own.
And what is it about Pinot Noir that you love so much?
That's about the hardest question in the world. For me, it is the greatest of all grapes. The greatest challenge on earth is growing Pinot Noir successfully. And there's only very, very few places in the world that you can grow it well. Mm-hmm. And one of those places is Central Otago, and that is where I live. So it's a sort of miracle that I happen to love the place the best that can also grow great Pinot Noir. It's a miraculous coincidence. And I kind of threw myself into it 20 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And it's something I never intended to do, and then I always thought it would be one vineyard and just keep it at that, and of course ambition gets the better of you, and you submit to the folly, and now it's 3 vineyards. But that's it. So I'm never going to be bigger than that.
Mm. And you were saying earlier you kind of like its elusive nature and the fact that it kind of keeps you on your toes, and it is difficult but very rewarding.
Yes, it's whimsical and heartbreaking, and but when all the planets line up, you can make wine of such divinity that it's hard to believe that you've been anything to do with it.
Wow, that is profound. And talking of Pinot, we were talking about your desert island wine earlier. Can you recall that for our viewers?
I think the desert island wine, for me, given that you're not allowed to take any of your own, because of course that is the most pleasurable thing of all, to open a bottle of your own wine. But given that you are paying for me to be on this desert island, and the magazine is flush, I'm going to take a case of Tâche. Actually, 2 cases. I'm not going to this damn desert island unless you let me take 2 cases.
Okay, we can stretch it to 2.
And you get me off. 2 cases will last me about a fortnight. So I don't want to be on that desert island any more than that.
Okay.
So it's 2 cases of Tâche 78.
8. And you drink it with?
What do you mean drink it with?
Were you going to have a buddy, weren't you? Your desert island.
Oh, right. You don't have to share
much of it.
If I have to share it with someone, and of course I want to, because wine, you drink drunk and solitary, is a bit like certain other activities. It's better in company.
Indeed.
And wine is all about company and conviviality and discourse and.
Well, it's like chess. We've got chess pieces here. You can't really play that on your own very much.
You can, or you can play it with a computer, but it's not nearly as much fun as playing with someone else. Given that I'm not allowed to take anyone in my family, that was another requisite.
Sorry.
Wasn't it? Yeah. I'll take Stephen Fry, because he's endlessly entertaining, and he's immensely knowledgeable, and I think Stephen would probably, work out some way of getting us off there.
Sweet.
I'd probably have to, work out how to make a fire.
You'd have to do the practical
shelter.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be any good for any of that
I think
stuff.
you'd be the man in the relationship.
What?
You'd
How
wear the
deeply
trousers.
sexist.
You'd wear the trousers.
That's so. I can't believe in this day and age.
No, but Stephen would be the one that was being all kind of eloquent and reading you poetry and things.
Yeah.
And you'd be making fire.
But why is that the man's job?
Moving swiftly on, obviously you're an actor as well as being involved in wine.
Yes.
How do they compare acting and winemaking? Filmmaking and winemaking, I guess.
Well, both are all about people, about teams, about like-mindedness, about a common purpose. And neither enterprise is any good if people don't have that, if you don't have cohesion, and they're both much more pleasurable if everyone likes what they're doing and they like each other.
And I think you were mentioning earlier about both filmmaking and winemaking, there's a certain element of alchemy needed. It's inexplicable, and then hopefully the magic happens.
Yes, I think that's right, that the difference between good and extraordinary is an indefinable thing, and but is critical, and you can never tell with a film whether it's going to be. You can tell whether it's going to be good.
Yeah.
You can't tell if it's going to be fantastic, and there has to be some element of genius involved somewhere, and some element of luck and magic and alchemy, and that's very true of wine.
And finally, if you had to, horrible question, but if you had to give up one, filmmaking or winemaking, which would you give up?
I'm not giving up anything. There does come a time when you're only cast as dying people. As grandfathers in their pajamas, giving out their last miserable, their last words. But I did work with John Gielgud when he was 96.
Oh, wow, good on him.
And the director I was working with said, "John, why didn't you ever want to retire or something?" He said, No. I have a very expensive boyfriend." And
fantastic.
I don't have a boyfriend, but I've got a lot of expenses.
Great. Well, Sam Neill, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time today, and can't wait to try your Pinots.
Thank
I'm sure
you
they'll be
very
delicious.
much.
Thank you.